Well, welcome back. Thank you for clicking on this video. For those of you in the audience that are young and you know what time of the year it is, yeah, that's right. School has ended. We're getting into the summer months. The temperatures are warming up. The beaches are open. The first official holiday has come and gone. That's Memorial Day. Hope you've enjoyed that as well. We took a little time off. We needed to, like I said, if you didn't catch our other videos, we had a death in the family, one of our little ones. We've had her for a long time, and we loved her, our little princess, our little Nani. She went quietly in the arms of my wife, and we hope she's happy in the afterlife on there as well. But looking at what's been going on in the last decade or so, and I keep hearing this, and I have to argue this, and I keep hearing this even from the YouTubers. You can't make this today. You can't make this movie. Blazing Saddles cannot be remade today. I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker cannot be remade today.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Monty Python, Life of Brian cannot be made today. But let me tell you something. If you have the will, the strength, and the ability to make something of this nature, to make a comedy, because comedy's been on attack for a long time now. Comedy breaks barriers in the sense, because people don't understand that there's some crazy things out there. Sometimes you have to point it out. The great George Carlin did many, many times. There's a great video out there. Multiple people are putting it out there about the Earth. That he does this whole bit that people are trying to save the Earth. The Earth don't need saving. We need saving. In other words, because basically, the Earth will be here after we're gone. It's a whole great bit. If you haven't seen it, it's fantastic. He goes into a real detail about everything. This is from back in the 90s. And you see that today, they'll tell you, they say, well, we don't want these things on there. And I tell you, some of these comedies were ahead of its time. I mean, the Life of Brian was in 1979. And there's a scene or two that, pushes forward on some of the things that are actually happening today. And there was word, because they're doing a Broadway show version of The Life of Brian, not a musical, and they're working on it now. But supposedly there was a person hired by the comedy troupe that helped birth Monty Python and many others, that wants to take segments out of The Life of Brian and just remove it completely, which has John Cleese in an uproar. But before we read into this from Deadline, I just wanted to take this moment to thank all of you for clicking on this video. If you haven't yet, hit that like, share this video with friends, family, enemies, and hopefully today I've earned your subscription. And for those of you already subscribed, please make sure you are still subscribed, as YouTube tends to remove subscriptions from time to time. And remember, if you wish to help support this channel, there are several links in the description below, including a merch shop with new anime themed shirts and mugs now available. Once again, thank you for your support, and make sure you hit that notification bell to make sure you receive all our notifications on Cuticast TV and all of our programming across all of our social media platforms. Thank you once again. Out of Deadline, Monty Python star John Cleese says Life of Brian scene won't be cut despite modern sensitivities. The Monty Python crew has always looked on the bright side of life when it came to this classic film parody of Life of Brian. But the Monty Python star John Cleese insists he's never said that he would remove a politically incorrect scene from the stage adaptation of The Life of Brian, even though the film's 1979 sensibilities would not draw quite the laughs as it once did, owing the rise of the trans issue awareness. I think it would. I think it would. This is the thought process is that, if you make a joke of this nature, nobody's going to laugh. Believe me, if you didn't see the Chrissy Meyer video out there where she made trans jokes out there, or Dave Chappelle, people were laughing. Because you have to laugh at issues that happen, that goes on there. That's the one thing about comedy. Comedy takes all barriers. It's not racist. It doesn't skip over anybody. It stereotypes everybody. It brings out the awareness of what is going on around us, and we have to laugh at it. We have to put ourselves so at least we can acknowledge that it is going on. Cleese claims it was misreported that he was planning to cut the Loretta scene for the upcoming stage adaptation of the religious satire film. Instead, he has no intention of removing it. The scene in question features a male character declaring that he wants to be a woman named Loretta and wants to have a child, which is a hysterical scene. Cleese's character tells the man that the notion is ridiculous, while another suggests that they'll all advocate for his right to childbearing. I want to be a woman. It's my right as a man, the character claims. Remember, this is 1979. They wrote this in the 70s. Okay, and you look at today, what is going on. I want to have babies. It's every man to have right babies if he wants. After Cleese protested, the character snaps, don't you oppress me. Way ahead of his time. Way. Obviously, the times have changed the impact of that humor. Times have changed, but the humor stays the same. It is the same situation. It's the same joke. Cleese was reported to have asked American actors to read through whether the Loretta scene should be dropped. He allegedly told that the joke was no longer fit in these times. So here you have something that has never been complained about in 40 years that I've heard of. Now, all of a sudden, we can't do it because it'll offend people. What is one supposed to make of that? Cleese said in a tweet that his comments were meant to retaliate what he was advised, not that he would actually do the cut. A few years ago, I spoke to an audience outside London. I told them I was adapting The Life of Brian so that we could do it as a stage show, not a musical. I said that we had a table reading of the latest draft in NYC a year ago, and that all the actors, several of them Tony winners, had advised me strongly to cut the Loretta scene. I have, of course, no intention of doing so. Bravo, Mr. Cleese. Because, I look at now, there's a lot of videos on YouTube that are saying, the worst cutout scenes from British humor, this, and that. A lot of that British humor was fantastically done. And again, like I said, some of it's ahead of its time. Some people said, like Little Britain, that Little Britain should be canceled. There's some great stuff on Little Britain. It's hysterical. People will say, wow, they got blackface and this and that. People talk about blackface, but when they, do a minority does a white character, they have no problem with that. You can go in one direction, but you can't go another. Can't do this. You can't do a gay person. You can't do a trans person. You can't do this, and you can't be this way. You can't be an Asian. It's comedy. Again, and I emphasize on this. Yes, you can make these films. You can make. I know someone on Nerdrotic, was it on Friday Night Tights, says, yeah, they should make a Blazing Saddles with the and dealing with the woke culture and all the insanity that's going on right now. That would be fantastic. Something to this nature, showing the insanity that's going on. And, no one's been brave enough to come forward to do it as of yet. But they should be. Right now, we got a writer's strike going on. There are hundreds of us out there that are writers that should be sitting back and saying, I'm not in the union. Screw them. I'm going to write something really, really good and try to get it produced. This is the time to do it. And if no big company that wants to go on there, do it yourself. You have the ability to do this around. You have cell phone cameras that are fantastic, that shoot some really up to 4K now these days. There are also regular cameras that shoot very nicely on there, and of course regular video cameras out there. Editing systems are a lot of them are free. In fact, one of the best ones out there, DaVinci Resolve, they have a free version with multi-track audio. You're able some great stuff. It has great color shading. You can do an entire film on the free version of DaVinci Resolve, and you can do it in 4K, 1080. You do whatever the way you wanted to do it. These are the moments that we need to push forward. Look right now at Eric July. He didn't wait behind. He pushed forward. Rippaverse is growing. The new age of indie comics is out. The Iron Age. It's growing. You see now, Chuck Dixon. Then you have those directorial sisters, the Soska sisters, Sylvia and Jen, who's doing a comic also. You got Alpha Core. You got others this comic book company is growing by leaps and bounds. Not afraid of the woke crowd, creating a new level of comics. Not what Marvel, not what DC is putting out today. This is why I tell you, we need this. We need studios now. We need production studios that basically are not Hollywood driven, that they are independent. On the East Coast alone, we got Lionsgate opening up in multiple places here. We got other independent studios that are opening up. We are growing. In the indie industry is growing by leaps and bounds. For John Cleese to sit there and says, we're not going to take this part out. We're not going to cut this scene. But see, this is the thing. This is why these all reboots and stuff like that, because they want to get rid of the stuff they disagree with on there. They're erasing the history on there. And the thing about it is, Life of Brian is not, it's not new for them to have controversy. When they first came out, the Catholic Church was really pissed about this. When this first came out, it was, nothing was held back. But it's a comedy. The funny part is that Life of Brian was criticized, but yet you had another movie called with Dudley Moore called Holy Moses. If you haven't seen Holy Moses, I think it's now available on Tubi, if I'm not mistaken. It's a real hysterical movie, similar to Life of Brian, but from the Moses point of view, that basically this guy thought he was supposed to save the Jews, bring them out of bondage on there, and it's a whole hysterical thing. Richard Pryor plays the Pharaoh, and it's a whole hysterical scene with that. If you haven't seen it, do catch it. It's really, really funny. But the thing about it is that didn't get any push for it. Even though it was not that popular, it was a good movie, but they never get pushed. It's always the situations where they focus in on certain things, certain particular movies, certain particular titles, and they say, well, we can't have that. We can't have this particular movie because it's really, really bad. Why is it bad? This is a comedy. They want to get rid of comedy in general on that. Look at the Taliban. Look what happened in Afghanistan. When Biden pulled everybody out and the Taliban came rolling in and took over, who was the first one they started to execute? The comedian that was out there making fun of the whole situation, and he was the first one dragged out and murdered. Look it up. Yep, it's true. It's very true that this did happen in Afghanistan. So let me know in the comments your thoughts to this situation on there. Are you with John Cleese, right? Said don't cut this, or are you disagreeing that you said, hey, yeah, it should cut it, don't piss off people in that direction. I want to hear from you on all of my social media platforms, YouTube, Odyssey, BitChute, and on Rumble. So once again, thank you for tuning in. Share this video, like it, hit that notification bell, and hopefully today's the day I've earned your subscription. We'll see you on the next video. Thank you for clicking on it, and bye-bye now.